Dress code system.
Doing. Oh my gosh. But what I'm laughing at is somebody stopped to take a picture. You know? Not like, hey, let's get her up and is she okay? And, oh, I got to take a picture of this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's pretty good.
Tell you, Mark and I had dinner. We had a pint.
Good, good. I bet, yeah.
I woke up and
Yeah. Yeah, I could have slept another couple hours this morning, but yeah, needed that. So much better than driving last night and in the morning. Oh my goodness. Lydia. Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Sweet music means one thing, that we are getting close to live action time here in Topeka. We are live for the Cafe Federal Auditorium in beautiful Topeka, Kansas, the site of this year's 6A Swimming and Diving Championships. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Topeka. Glad you're with us this morning. It's about 8:45 on my sundial, which gives us about 15-20 minutes before we get started in earnest. We have a couple other special presentations, some Hall of Fame inductions that'll take place this morning. Our first event after those ceremonies will be the dive competition, where we have 16 divers that'll all participate. They'll have 3 dives apiece, and then we will start the swimming portion of the championship Saturday with the 200-yard medley. Now, as we did yesterday, had a chance to tell you a little bit more about some of these student athletes outside of the water. We were able to make it through the Blue Valley Northwest schools, so I've got a long way to go. I'm going to get right back into it. We're going to go with the Derby Panthers next. How about Anna Arbogast? Anna Arbogast participates in the 200 free relay, the 100 breaststroke. Her accomplishments in the pool this year: the AVCTL League 100 breaststroke champion and champion of the 200 medley relay in 2021. She was the AVCTL League 100 breaststroke second place finisher and the 200 free relay third place finisher in 22, and she placed second in the 200 free this year. Outside of the pool, she also participates in the National Honor Society and a biomed program at Derby High. No other swimmers in her family. When asked who her heroes were, she said, and I quote, "My parents, because they helped me with everything and will always be there for me." Future plans for Anna Arbogast: she's going to go to K-State, and she's committed to them for rowing. She's a rower, going to go to K-State, and she wants to pursue a degree in dental science. Is that a thing, dental science? As I look over to my great engineer, Ty Hofer, he's just shrugging and like, well, is that I don't know. I think it is. Mia Dreiling out of Derby High. She's another Panther. She is going to be participating in the 100 free and the backstroke, as well as a couple of relays. She said that one of her accomplishments was winning most valuable swimmer on her team. She's won 11 AVCTL League Championship medals. She's participated in winning 3 league titles while being on Derby High's swim team. And she's placed in the top 16 3 years in a row in every event that she swam here at the state tournament. She said that her mom swam in high school, and one of the reasons why she started swimming in the first place. Mia said that one of her heroes is her little sister, because, and I quote, "She's always there for me and I can count on her. She's my best friend and always supports me." Future plans for Mia Dreiling: she is going to go right into the workforce starting on May 30th, working at a company in Wichita called LTC, Leading Technology Composites. Well done, Miss Dreiling. Random fact about Mia Dreiling: she said, and I quote, "Something that makes me a little different than other girls my age is for my high school job, I worked at a farm auction company. I love being around all Kansas, working different auctions and going to different locations," she says, "and I enjoy seeing all the different kind of antiques from so long ago. As an auctioneer myself, I certainly can appreciate the admiration that Mia Dreiling has." Well done, young lady. How about Carson Griffin out of Derby High? Her events are the 200 free, the 500 free. She said the 500 free is her favorite. As far as accomplishments go, she said, "I swam in a summer league when I was little and got high points in almost every league championship." Other activities for Carson Griffin: she plays violin, piano, cello. She's in the student council. She's a class officer. She swims for the Wichita Swim Club and is on the Athlete Advisory Committee. She's also on the Missouri Valley Swimming Athlete Committee and Financial Committee. Quite the underachiever, Carson Griffin. She said that she has a cousin who swam in college, but that's really it for the family. She said her hero is her cousin because, I quote, "She's the only other swimmer in my family and inspired me to start swimming." Future plans for Carson: she said, "I'd like to go to Cornell, Princeton, or Caltech to study astrophysics." Astrophysics. And random fact about Carson underachiever Griffin: she said, "I love cooking." Now, once again, as we mentioned yesterday, for all these athletes that claim to be bakers, and good in the kitchen, we don't believe you. We're going to have some sort of proof. So next year, I guess you'll be in Lenexa. Just keep that in mind. If you tell me that you're a good cook or a good baker, well, you're going to have to prove it. All right, Addison Thornburg from Derby High. She participated in the 100 back and the 500 free. She said that her accomplishment is first place gold medal at League Medley Relay. She's on the student council and the debate team. And she said her brother Aiden, who's in the class of 2020, is in the class of 2026, is also a swimmer. And that is one of her two brothers. Her other is her older brother, Aiden Thornburg, who's her hero as well. Future plans for Addison: she's going to take a year off and travel around the world. Sounds great, Addison. Send me a postcard. Thoughts about her coaches. Addison said, and I quote, "My coaches are all very fun. Coach Adams, you can always tell if he's in a good mood or not. Both Coach Adams and Coach Smith make swimming for Derby High so much fun and enjoyable." She said that Smith is always positive and happy, and Adams is sweet and honest. And a random fact about Addison: she's lived in 5 states, 3 different countries, and she's visited over 25 countries. Thank you very much. So Addison Thornburg, the world traveler. Bright future in front of her. How about Izzy McCabe, also out of Derby High? Her events are the 100 breast, the 500 free, and the 200 medley relay. One of the accomplishments for Izzy McCabe, she said that I'm a pro-level club swimmer, and I got second in my 100 breast at League and third in my 500 free at League. Other activities for Izzy, we've got another cello player, and she even performed her solo at the state competition. Other swimmers in the family for Izzy, she said, my brother's a swimmer. He's a sectional level swimmer. In March, he swam for Barton County Community College at Nationals in Buffalo, New York. Now he's shooting for the Olympic trials. She said her aunt, Emily, is her hero, I beg your pardon. Izzy said, and I quote, they've been through so much and have been a huge inspiration to me for how brave and accomplished they are. Izzy's future plans, she's going to go to Oregon for college and study marine science. Another science coach.
I know.
We just had a future astrophysicist.
No shortage of talent here in Kansas.
You know, not only in the pool, but out. Yeah, the future is certainly bright. You're going to base it on these swimmers and divers that we're going to see here today. Leah Roger, well, one more thing about Izzy McCabe. She said a random fact about her is, and I quote, I'm the first girl swimmer in my family, but my dad played D1 basketball at college. So an athletic family for sure. Leah Rogers, also from Derby High. Her events are the 100 fly and the 200 IM. She said that I love swim, and I swam competitively for 9 years. She said, I've gotten a lot of medals and ribbons from her meets. Last year, I got an award for hardest worker. Other activities for Leah Rogers, she's in journalism and clay wheel. Clay wheel. I'm assuming that's where they make clay pots, something like that. And we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Steed.
You were right on Macedonia.
Macedonia. Okay, thank you. Steed. Okay. Uno momento. That is Jasmine Steed. Getting some pronunciations. Try as we might. Sometimes we butcher the names. I've asked Ty Hofer, Coach Bruce Bove, to get the proper pronunciations. And, well, I guess sometimes you got to do it yourself if you want to do it. I say that in fun. No, we do our best, and sometimes we just butcher them, me more than anyone.
You know, you've been reading through these things. I bet several times we've had hardest worker awards.
Right.
Presented.
And what do you know? Hardest worker at the state tournament going for medals.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it? Let that be a lesson to all you young swimmers and just young people out there. In order to get something that you really want and aspire to be, it takes just a little bit of hard work, good old grit. So back to the... Go ahead, Coach.
You can be pessimistic about the youth of today if you watch the news and
you're not a kid.
Some of the other things that are going on.
Right.
And then you come to an event like this, And Keisha is also running regional track, regional softball, regional baseball, regional soccer.
And we are moments away from the start of the diving competition. The 1 meter diving competition will have 16 divers here in Class A, each with 3 dives. Coach, if I remember correctly, 2 of those are required or mandatory and 1 is optional. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Oops, sorry. Go ahead there, Coach.
It's called a voluntary dive, and we used to call it a required dive. So they'll have 1 of those, and then they'll have 2 optional dives. So the first dive will be they can do them in any order, but there'll be a lower DD, degree of difficulty for them. And then the optional dives have the higher DD. And we have 7 judges. They will toss out the 2 highest, 2 lowest, and use the 3 in between. Add those together and multiply it by the degree of difficulty. That gives you a score.
And the divers are being introduced. They are on the bulkhead, all 16 of these qualified divers. And as you look up and down the qualifying marks out of their preliminaries, Coach, there's not a lot of difference in how these divers score, which tells me that we're going to have a pretty tight competition here, and it is wide open. Now, sometimes we see that maybe the top 2 or 3 have the higher scores, and then there's a little bit of a drop-off. Thinking of you, Braxton Higgins. But in this case, for the girls' dive, it's pretty darn tight.
Well, we have one young lady that looks like to be a dominant leader,
and only a junior.
You never can tell what's going to happen here if somebody misses a takeoff. Unlike swimming, where if you're in the B final, you can't move up and place in the A final. In diving, you're real fluid here. You can move. You could be in 8th place now and theoretically win the whole thing.
Right. Well, as the divers get the last-minute instruction from the officials on the far side, that'll give us a quick second to kind of reset things here in Topeka. We are live on the NFHS Network at the Capitol Federal Natatorium, and we're going to be here not only this morning, but we're going to be here all day long. We have, of course, the dive competition that's just moments away from beginning. Immediately following that, we'll have the finals and the consolation heats for the swimming competition. At the conclusion of that, we'll take I'd say about a 2-hour break, and we're going to come back and do it all over again later this afternoon at around 4 o'clock for the 1 through 5A competition, and we'll have basically the same format. So, as we get ready for diving, as Coach said, they will have 3 dives. There's going to be 7 scores presented for each. Now, they can range all the way from 0 up to, I think 10. The highest we've seen, I think we did see a 9. I want to say last year or the year before, but generally, between 5 and 7 is kind of that sweet spot where we see a lot of activity.
Right.
But keep in mind that degree of difficulty multiplier can certainly impact their cumulative total to determine who the next state champ or potentially repeat state champ is going to be.
If you enter a diver in this competition, you must have an experienced judge to judge at this meet.
Rose Lawler is going to be our first diver up. Her first of 3 dives. Rose Lawler, the senior out of Blue Valley West, she's coming into the finals with a cumulative score. She scored 263.25. This dive is going to be a
and 1.5 somersault tuck.
2.2 DD, and when we say DD, we mean the degree of difficulty. It's that magic number that gets multiplied by the average of the 3 middle scores. Dive, for you diving aficionados, is a 403C. Here's Rose Lawler from Blue Valley West. She was the diver of the year twice for the Jaguar team. Nice dive, low splash. That's going to score nicely.
Now, we should tell you that the view you're seeing is completely different from what the judges are seeing.
Yeah, we've got a head-on view. They don't.
Yeah.
They're on the sidelines.
And there's judges on either side of the pool. Front double.
And Gabrielle Sander, the 2.2, forward 2 somersault with the tuck. 36 cumulative. Now we have Emily Brandt out of Lawrence High. We heard a little bit about Emily earlier, the world traveler. There's a cheerleader, plays tennis, gymnastics, student council, band, National Honor Society, this Emily Brandt. But she also has different colored eyes.
Yeah, that's unusual.
1.6 DD on that one. That's a reverse 1 somersault tuck.
That's her voluntary dive.
That's going to score really well.
Now, if you're looking at the scoreboard, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those are the judges. And the scores underneath that are highlighted be the ones that are accepted.
Shawnee Mission East, Macy, Don't You Dare Cross Her, 1.7 DD, 5.22 1D. It's going to score nicely.
5.5s right there, you know, right at the top of very good or good.
Next up, we have Addie Hurley out of Olathe Northwest, the Raven.
A reverse double.
2.1 DD for Addie Hurley.
Now, the positions you can use on diving are tuck, pike, open, free position, straight. And the divers get to choose their dives along with their coaches of what they're most proficient at.
We got Riley Scott. She's going to be doing a back 1 somersault half twist free, 1.7 on the DD. Nice splash. And so many of these dives, you know, from the layperson's perspective, I would think that having judges adjacent or to the sides of the dive is going to favor the diver, where we see, you know, exactly, you know, are they coming off straight? She came off a little cattywampus there. Still a nice dive.
Yeah.
That's Olivia Clifton out of Blue Valley North, 1.6 on the DD, reverse 1 somersault tuck.
We're seeing things that the judges can't.
Right.
Or, and vice versa. They see things we don't see.
Claire Geraltz, Blue Valley Northwest. She come in with a current total of 3:15.35. Leader in the clubhouse, Claire Geraltz. And that's why. She says that her favorite type of dive is an inward dive. Claire also has a younger sister who's on the swim team, first year swimming. Claire's going to dive in college. She's not sure where yet, and she's going to go into the medical field. And here's Paige Schmitteskamp.
To be at this level, the divers had to have had 11 dives that they're good at.
Mia Masterson out of Blue Valley West. Mia's going to be going to the University of Colorado State to major in biomedical sciences. Nice inward dive, low splash.
That was a good dive from him.
Tucked it very well. Might get some sixes. We got Jade Standen from Olathe Northwest. 2.1 and a reverse 2 somersault tuck. Coming up next on the left board. It's going to score nicely.
This particular facility has 2 boards. The divers get to choose which board they like best.
Here's Gabby Klinkenbeard out of Olathe West. 2.0 back 1.5 somersault tuck. You notice where she is out on the board on the far left edge. She's one of the only divers I think I've seen do that, Coach. I'll ask you about that in a second. She did get that extended back out. I was more concerned from here. It looked like maybe she could have touched the board, but.
Well, if she had touched the board, they would have had an automatic deduction by the referee. And he's right there closer. He would have seen that.
Which is sort of insult to injury. You know, you smack your foot on the board and you're still getting penalized. Like, come on. Eden Hakes out of Mill Valley. 2.1 reverse, 1.5 somersault tuck. She came off that one a little cattywampus.
Little twist. If she'd gone a little bit further, it would have been a failed dive.
Right.
The judges are looking for, well, different judges have importance for different things. Looking for the splash, they're looking for where your shoulders are or your arms are.
Here's Brianna Devlin out of Topeka High. Short commute for Miss Devlin this morning. Familiar with this pool and certainly looked at ease on that dive.
6, 7, 7, 7. 6 and 1/2.
Scored very well. If you can stay in that 5.5 to 6.5 for every one of your dives, you're going to do really well.
Rhiannon Good, freshman out of Wash Rural. Topeka Wash, there are a couple of maybe some questions about.
52-22D, back 1 somersault, 1 twist free, 1 9 on deck, Megan and Nicole Rose.
There she is. Rhiannon Good out of Wash Rural. 1.9 DD, back 1 somersault, 1 twist free.
Scores. 5 and 1/2, 6, 6, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 6, 6. Megan 401C, and we're dive tuck, 1-4 on deck.
Well, we're on to the last diver in this first dive round. First of 3, Megan Driever out of Shawnee Mission North. The senior Bison. 1.4 DD on her inward dive tuck. Nice dive.
From here, it looks really good.
7, 7,
Yeah.
7, 7 and 1/2, 7.
That's going to push her up the board.
What we saw was the same as what the judges saw. Huh?
We're double somersault tuck, 2, 8.
Hi, Lily. Good luck with
5, 6 and 1/2, 7, 6 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 6. Megan 302C, reverse 1 somersault tuck, 1 6 on deck Rose and the whole galley.
Megan Driever.
And there's a big range in these scores from 5.5 to 7 on that one, just because different judges think certain things are more important, and because they see different things. even though they're sitting next to each other, the one that's on the far end is seeing something different than the person that's on the other end of the panel because of their angle.
That's why I was sitting out. Here's Rose Lawler wasting no time. Rose, get out.
4, 4, 3, 1/2. Megan.
My guess is that's a dive she doesn't like.
Yeah.
I mean, she threw that to the side and
Right. Megan Driever. Final dive. 2023 State Diving Championships. Megan Driever.
whoa, 2.5 twists.
She get around so
Back.
quickly.
Yeah.
But she's like one of those pirouette ice skaters. You know how they can
Yeah.
go around like 7,000 RPMs.
5, 2. This concludes the diving portion of the meet. Swimmers.
And that is going to do it for the diving competition in Class 6A. We're going to take a quick break. Occupies the 1-4 slot. How about Gabby Klinkenberg? Gabby, the junior out of Olathe West, finishes in 13th. Mia Masterson, the senior out of Blue Valley West, finishes in 12th. Rhiannon, good. Washerell freshman, another freshman, she finishes in the 11th spot. Your top 10 finishers, Paige Schmitteskamp, Olathe East senior. How about James Standen finishing in 9th place? The Olathe Northwest Ravens sophomore. Rose Lawler out of Blue Valley West finishes in 8th. Emily Brandt out of Lawrence High, she's a junior, finishes in 7th. Gabby Sander, the senior out of Blue Valley Northwest, in 6th. Your top 5 finishers. Riley Scott out of Shawnee Mission East, she's a junior. Megan Driever, Shawnee Mission North senior, finishes in 4th. Your top 3, Addie Hurley, Olathe Northwest High School junior. The runner-up and the girls 1 meter dive for 2023, Brianna Devlin out of Topeka High. And your 2023 6A girls diving champion, Claire Geraltz, the junior from Blue Valley Northwest, has her way with the rest of the field, scoring 434 cumulative points and 20 juicy points for her team, on her way to accepting that gold medal, which she's doing right now, and taking that spot back on top of the award stand again. Claire Geraltz is your champion. Congratulations to all the divers for an excellent competition. Our next event, the continuation of the girls 200-yard medley relay. So you see the
Well, everybody's got to get pictures here.
pictures and flashing the signs. Hopefully they're not gang signs. No, I just kid, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of talent right there on the award stands. And we're going to see quite a few of those athletes back here again next year. I guess it'll be in Lenexa, but